We can easily convert the students' factual knowledge to the conceptual knowledge throughout the procedural knowledge. That is, as much as English approaches we can provide to our children, they can do more and more practice according to us. But at first we have to decide that we must provide them more and more English approaches in the classroom situation. Now the first learning outcome. First learning outcome is read and respond to greetings. If we are able to inform them about these greetings, not only about the school timing but also throughout the day, then what happens, and to tell them that they would practice them in their home or their or when when they will be their friends or the surroundings. Like good morning or good afternoon we can practice in our school, but good evening and good night, that would not be possible to practice in our school. But we can make them informed that whenever they will be at home at the evening, if anyone who are meeting newly, then he or she can greet good evening, and before going to bed they can read with good night. But one thing there to be noticed, that they would not get enough support from their surroundings. So they are that lacking we have to fulfill in our school, because that environment, that surrounding support they are not getting, so they may be deprived or discouraged. So we have to make them encouraged properly. And these are the greetings that we can easily practice to our PP class, that is welcome, goodbye, thank you, pleasure, sorry, excuse me, please, and may I, can I. One thing we can tell that may I drink water. What happens that they are very familiar to their English, to their Bengali language. They used to say these greetings with the English. They use the Bengali. Starting of our academic session, we can prepare doing what would, like you can see here, as it is prepared at the preliminary or predetermined way, as otherwise whenever we are using these in the classroom, there would be the possibility of distraction. So we must not be distracted, as they are only 5+ age, and if we are distracted, then they will also distracted. They can't achieve the proper knowledge of language acquisition. So it will be predetermined the list, and we must know that how far we will introduce with them. And the very preliminary stage, we will use the one word, that is come, only come. And later, when they are familiar with, understand the instruction come or go, then we will give the instructions later expanding form, that is you come here, you go there. At the very preliminary stage, we can say only sit, by moving our hand, only sit. And when they are able to understand that what is the meaning of sit, then we can say that please sit down on the bench. And ultimately, after practicing this more and more, they will be able to understand the instructions and can follow this properly. The next learning outcome, that is sing songs and rhymes with actions. This is the very important part of our pre-primary curriculum, because they are very small, so the enjoyment or the joyful learning is very necessary for them. So whenever we are introducing these rhymes, we must be concerned about that these rhymes will be introduced with proper actions, proper pronunciation, and proper gestures. And and sometimes proper tunes. If we can able to do that, then they will follow us joyfully. Otherwise, they will get bored because all the meaning of the words that used in the rhymes, they are not familiar with that. In this case also, we will take some particular themes, and our full PP learning outcome is dependent on themes already that I've told. That is school. Whenever we are saying that Teddy bear goes to school, from this sentence we can pick up the school and we can enrich our children about the schools and their equipment or the environment he or she can get there. Likely the classroom, home, body parts, flower, fruits, vegetables, animals and their sounds, elements of environment, alphabet and phonic sounds and number rhymes. Here you can get some rhymes from the Bihan. The page number is also given there. And rather than that, we all know many rhymes beyond this Bihan that will be more helpful to use in our classroom. The last two topics points, that is alphabets and phonics. Very important for us, because from this stage later we will continue into our reading. So whenever we are using the alphabet, we must be aware of the phonic sound, and we must introduce the phonic sounds with the alphabets accordingly, following the rhymes, and later we will see that activities. And in case of number rhymes, not only in case of number rhymes, whenever we are introducing the number concept, not only introduce the numbers, but also we make to able to learn how to count. Later, when we describe our activity objects from immediate environment, color, shapes, body parts, block, doors, etc. And the expresses emotions through verbal and non-verbal modes, gestures and drawings. Here also we have to prepare two word pools. One is naming word pool, and other is two word pools. One is naming word pool and other will be describing word pool. Here also we will predetermine that how far we can introduce in our classroom. Other Monday, Tuesday, whenever we are using this theme to them, the days of the week, then we can use the calendar here, and some TLMs we can prepare to support them. Accordingly, the months, January, February, March, etc., and the other objects. Now the describing words. In the describing words, whenever we are introducing the colors, already they are coming by knowing that the colors in Bengal, that is red is lal. They know lal. Now we will convert that lal into red. That is the learning outcome of our English language. As the whole curriculum is going on integrated way, so the Bengali and English will be implemented simultaneously. Hello. And then the name of the comparison words like tall, shorts, and then the name of the expressions. Here there would be some problem that how we express the expressions. Here that will also show you after this session, that how we can show the expressions to them. And at last, that is the rhyming words. Whenever we are preparing this word pool with rhyming words, we must be concerned about the sequence of the vowels. That is cat, bat, man. Here we are using the A. And after this series, completing this series, we will introduce the other rhyming words where their A will be at the different sequence. And after completing that, the A sequence properly, then only we can convert the E sequence, that is pen, ten, ten, and then pin, tin, tin. It is not necessary, but that each and every sequence they have to learn. But as far as they can do, we make them to do that. Now that is another important part, that is where do you live in, which clothes do you live in, what is your father's and mother's name or mother's name, how old are you, likely those. And the very preliminary stage, we must expect the answers only in one word. That is, what is your name? They will tell Robi, only Robi. But we have to convert this factual knowledge into the conceptual knowledge whenever they will able to speak or tell the answer in a complete sentence. That is, whenever we are asking what is your name, they can able to tell that my name is Robi Roy. So then this learning outcome is fulfilled, that he or she can introduce himself or herself properly. So after practicing this, we can also here introduce the be verbs in this section. But not only saying that these are the be verbs, these are the be verbs, not only that. We can only say that I am a girl. I am a girl. You are a boy. He is a boy. She is a girl. It is a pen. Whenever we are telling this, it is not necessary to the idea that I is the subject, am is the be verb, and there is the boy is the object. Not that. But only they are practicing to say some statements their own. That is, I am boy, I am a boy. And whenever they will able to these statements, then their oral language development will be gradually developed very fluent. And whenever we are introducing these be verbs, if possible, not compulsory, but if possible, we can introduce the negative patterns also. But not saying that these are the negative sentences, not that. Only we are putting a not in between the sentences which we have already make them know. I am a girl. He or she know that I am a girl. We will put only a not there. I am not a boy. You are not a girl. He or she not your friend. It is not a pen. Whenever they are able to learn this not, they will know how to say no. Because in oral language development or communicative English, these negative patterns are also very necessary to them. Now this is the end of our first part, that is phonetic awareness, that alphabets with phonic sounds used to increase the knowledge of vocabulary. With this, the comprehensions they will able to say by introducing themselves whatever we are describing in our previous section, and then come the fluency. And whenever the fluency comes, what happens? Now then we can provide the print-rich environment to them. Then we could convert them to the book exposure. That is our next step. So we go through that these all were the oral language development. Now we are entering a zone that is very important, that is reading. In this step, we have to give exposure more and more about recognizing the letters and their corresponding sounds. Whenever we are using these cards, here you can see in the slide that we have taken the cards where the capital and smalls both are introducing simultaneously. Here have a reason to introduce them together, as they could later, whenever we will convert them at the exposure of book, then they can easily identify or recognize the capital letters and small letters properly. And after practicing these, whenever they are able to identify some familiar letters, then we can convert them into the activities. Activities like we can provide them the word cards with capital letters and the small letters, and give it to them and to say which one is written in capital letter and which one is the small letter. They can identify this. And one more activity is very familiar with them. That is, we can provide them some blocks or some cards of capital and small by mixing them, and we can tell them that you have to pick up the small e. Suppose we have to pick up the small e and come to me. If they can able to do rightly, then that is it is proof that their learning of identification or recognition of the letters has completed. And one more thing, here you can see in the slide that we have taken the card, that is there are some lines. We can easily take the cards, there have not the lines, only the alphabets. But we have chosen this because from the very beginning, whenever they recognize the letters, they will able to know at the second step, next step, when we convert them to writing, how far they will use the space when they are going to write. So these are the preparation of the writing level. That is why we have chosen the cards where the lines are drawn. Sorry. This is another important part, that is storytelling. Sometimes we think that the children are very small, they can't tell the story in English. How it would be possible? It is possible if we convert the picture reading familiar with them. At first, at their vernacular, they will tell, and then we gradually will convert them into English. As whenever we are taking up the stories, we must be very concerned that the story must be short and simple. When they would be short and simple, then what happened? From this story, we have to choose very important 4 to 6 sequences. Those are the very important sequences. Then we can prepare the picture card. If it is not possible to draw, then we can take the pictures from the books also. But we have to prepare these cards and provide them to our children. At first, they will try to say that in their vernacular language or mother tongue. Whenever they are able to explain tell the story in mother tongue, then we will gradually convert them in English. But it will happen that some of the students, they cannot be able to tell the story in mother tongue also. But in that cases also we can give our English exposure by indicating the picture elements, like what is this? This is a sun. Who is this? This is a crow. This type of conversation when we use, then gradually the people who can not able to telling the story properly, gradually he or she will move at this. And one thing we will concentrate with that we are using out the stories that there must be the value, as the holistic development of a child is required, we know. So if we are moving the moral of the story, then easily through this story the moral they will be equipped with this moral and their value education can occur. This is the last part, that is writing. Here we have to move our children from scribbles to some few familiar letters. And the very preliminary stage, we will not give them to write. We will make practice them some activities like we can, and how the B is seen. After acquisition of this knowledge, then we can move them at the right place. Whenever we moving them into the detail, that this is their teddy bear turn around, they will not interested to do that. But whenever we tell that teddy bear turn around, teddy bear turn around. Teddy bear touch the ground. Like, and one important thing that is we have introduced in the alphabets. Whenever we are introducing the alphabets in our classroom, we can provide some cards. As we have to pronounce the phonetic sounds, that is likely A for apple,
Ma'am, time is
likely all the letters you can find the all these phonetic rhymes in the net or in books. You can continue in your classrooms. And we have already told that the describing words, the expression, how we can show the expression. All of us are now very familiar with the smartphones and the emojis. And these emojis we can express to the children to describe the expression properly. They also are very familiar with these expressions. They know these are the emojis, and from these we can able to make them that he is happy. She or he is sleeping, and this somebody is angry. So these we can also build them and different ways and use them and able to they can handle this. One important part that we have told that before going to the writing session, we have to make the split mix. From the TLM that we can write this like one sloping line, one sloping line, and one slipping line. That consists the one sloping line, and one slipping line, that is A. Likely, whenever we are practicing this, then they are familiar to move the hands fluently, then we convert in the right. There are some TLMs. We can see that these are the blocks that we can move and put them at the proper places. Here the alphabets. We can go that the word formation. Whenever we are introducing the oral language development or word construction, then this is a dog and D and G is there, and we are taking the O there, and it is forming the dog. So whenever also we can using the alphabet rhymes, D for duck, we can also use this data. Thank you.